Yes. It's
All right. Hello, everyone. Another week, episode 36, United World of Sports. It's Dante Suave. Welcome back, Mystah Jay.
I'm back. I'm
back, and we'll find out if he's happy eventually when we get to a certain topic. But we're gonna start it off with a quickie, so to speak. So last week there was a segment that I wanted to get to that we didn't get a chance to get to, and concerning a statement that Roy Jones Jr. made about the Tyson fight. I am, as soon as I find it, I am going to play it and let you hear it, and then we'll chime in our opinions. There he is.
Listen, y'all can't be. I was worried. I was too. Listen, I was worried. I was too. Listen, y'all can't be out there trying to kill each other. What else do he know? If he trying to hit you, like he gonna be trying to kill you. That's all he know. I get in front of him and I see him doing all this shit. I say, oh, kill that. I throw a punch, he still on him. Wait a minute. At 54, he's still that fast? Still slipping him. You feel me? He's still slipping all my stuff. And I'm right now, because I gotta be right just in case he get wrong, then we gonna get wrong. You feel me? You understand me? This dude was still fast. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Man's head and he punched that heel. Then I hit him with a left hook or something. We got close and he took his glove and ran the lace up my face. I said, dirty son of I see you, Mike. I see you still got game. All right, I'm good. I said, you gonna do it again? No, I ain't doing it no more, cause if I do it again, it's gonna get bad. You know what I'm saying? Cause this dude, first of all, he's still too strong. He still got all his old tricks that he's much harder to hit than I ever thought he would have been. You know what I mean? That's what was surprising me. I was worried.
I don't care how many times I listen to that, I still always bust out laughing. Okay, so and I am kind of okay, so in terms of being invested, I was out as soon as I heard that they wasn't allowed to knock each other out. So I've watched it. I'm watching it again as we speak. And Mike, why does the thing I don't get is he done been on camera I don't know how many times. You done seen him just sparring. You seeing what he doing. Why do it take you getting in there to realize it's not just the cameras. It's what you're seeing is what you're seeing. I don't need to stand at the top of a building to realize how bad my fall is gonna be if I jump. I don't need to stand in front of the 18-wheeler to realize how screwed I am when it's barreling at me at 65 miles an hour to know that I'm done. I can see it happen and I can be like, yeah, I probably want no parts of that. Right. Mm-hmm.
True.
Yeah. So this was just, to me, it was pure entertainment. It was hilarious. Because especially with his boxing knowledge, it's like, bro, did you? I mean, I guess I could kind of believe it because you do believe that no matter how athletically gifted somebody is, they are going to take a back step. So I guess I could kind of see where he was coming from. But again, when you see it on camera and you see what he's doing, you see he's slipping. You see he's slipping when he's sparring and everything. All these years, certain times you see is still there.
It just made it to where everything that you saw in the exhibition with Roy Jones makes you think even harder about the exhibition with Jake Paul. Because it makes you because if Roy Jones, who was the fastest son of a gun in the boxing, is sitting up here saying, "Oh, he still got it." It was only a few years ago. Then you turn around, you fight against Jake Paul, and it looks like he's just lost every bit of it. It was there in glimpses, or
he never got to recover.
Right, but did he lose it, or did they tell him to tone it down, or he wasn't gonna get paid?
He never got to recover from him being sick, because you notice he was sick, so they moved it, but they made sure that it had to happen. It had to happen ASAP.
Yep.
And like, this man is old. So basically, you're not giving him no recovery time.
No.
And he has some reach advantage, and that did frustrate Mike. And Mike still gets frustrated if he can't do it exactly what he wanted to do, exactly how he wanted to do it. I even saw it in this fight against Roy. There were some times when Roy was being Roy, and Tyson couldn't. He was timing him just right, and it was frustrating Tyson. You saw him biting his gloves. So did they ask him to tone it down? Of course they did. Plus, and plus, the other thing, if you remember watching that fight, as soon as Tyson got into that body, he knew, okay, I got to hold him every time he come in. Whatever my game plan is, if he get close to my body, I got to start holding and make the refs separate us, because I cannot. I felt that, and the match just started. I'm not going through that for the next amount of rounds that we doing. No. So,
It just, I mean, for me, I laughed when I saw that clip, and I had seen that clip beforehand. I chuckled because I was like, yeah, that's just not that's funny to hear that from Roy. Like, no, I wasn't stupid. I wasn't about to sit up there and go up against that. No, I'm gonna get the heck out of Dodge. And I got it when he said it, but to me, it just made it to where it made me mad, because I think we got robbed out of him really like teeing off and taking that poor boy's head off. And I wanted to see him take that poor boy's head off.
If he would have waited until he was completely recovered from whatever that was that he had, that would have been a bad situation. That would have been a bad situation. He knew it. The other promoter knew it. They knew what they were doing, and that's why I can't fully respect the situation. And I'm sure he does have some skill to fight. I'm not gonna knock him. I mean, even with his level of skill, he was able to knock out. He was able to knock out some people that, even though they technically
shouldn't have even been fighting in it,
they had some chin issues,
right?
But like Tyrone Woodley, I will never disrespect the man. The man is a bad man, but after that first knockout, it seemed to come easier to knock him out, and that's not being disrespectful. I'm going based upon the facts of how many times he got knocked out after that first time. So, and that was why he was fighting in the UFC. So,
oh yeah, Weak Chin, Weak Chin was
So, oh, you know what? I take that back. I did figure out a rip from the headlines. But I gotta find it. I gotta find it. It's UFC. I think you probably saw it, so you know who I'm talking about. I gotta try to find it again though. But you got anything to chime in on this before we move on, Mr. Drew?
If you're trying to get me to tell you that I respect Jake Paul at all in a squared circle, throwing gloves with an aged Mike Tyson or a washed up UFC fighter, think about 99 more times. There is no chance in hell Jake Paul is a good boxer. Okay, he's not. He's a payday expert, and he is great at promotion, and he beats up on people that need a paycheck and have had a name in UFC or in other places and can draw, and that's great. Good for him. I'm glad he's making money. Awesome. I'm never going to, belittle a guy for getting a paycheck. Get it how you get it. Awesome.
I will. He don't. I don't like it.
He is not a boxer. Okay, fighting Mike Tyson at the age of what, 58. Not okay. No, this exhibition between those two, it didn't really hold any interest for me. I didn't really care. They're both way, they're both way past retirement. Not even prime past retirement age. They're in the old folks home of boxing. When they were in their prime, some of the most dangerous men on the planet. Absolutely. To this day, I still don't want to fight either one. I mean, I don't want to. I don't get hit by
No,
either.
I wouldn't step in the ring with Tyson. Hell no.
Yeah, no. Like
you couldn't pay me enough.
I think Roy Jones, his realization that Mike Tyson is still a little unstable is flabbergasting to me that you didn't.
That scared the piss out
know
of me.
that.
He's like, wait a minute.
He's like, oh, I didn't know he was going to rub my face with his glove. Of course he was going to. He was going to prove that he was there and could kill you.
That's Mike.
How you didn't see that coming. I love both of the fighters. I think they're both great fighters. In their prime, they were some of the best fights to watch.
I still say that
watching them now, I just couldn't be bothered to watch the fight. I just didn't care. It just held zero interest for me. It's like it's just like the Mike Tyson Jake Paul thing. While I wanted Mike Tyson to just beat the living, will be family friendly here and beat the tar out of him.
Tar's good.
Tar's good. I like Tar. I think that's family friendly. Left cussing. Everyone's involved. It's good. I see what you're saying there, Jay.
I still believe that I'll say this and then we can move on. I still believe that Roy wouldn't have lost to Tarver if he would have when he came back down in weight, he would have took some tune-up fights instead of going straight for Tarver. I felt like that was a little bit disrespectful to Tarver, and Tarver made him pay. And
yeah,
I'm not gonna wholeheartedly agree. I don't think it was disrespectful to Tarver, but I think that it was foolish and very haughty of Roy Jones to think he didn't need it.
Right. I don't think knowing his ego to some extent, he probably did, but I don't mean he meant to be disrespectful, like completely, but just the act of doing it. It's like, wait, so you're not even gonna take a tune-up fight, get back to being at your normal weight before you come against me, which I know for a fact that hyped up Antonio Tarver, because it's like, oh, okay, so you're not taking me seriously at all. Okay.
It's great. It's good media.
Right. So
all right, time's up there. What do we got up next?
Yeah.
So chomping at the bit. We're waiting for it.
All right. So
hey, Jay's in frame now.
You know what? we'll get through the quickie. Trey and McLaurin, congratulations to the Bengals in Washington, both getting people signed today.
Are you congratulating them?
Huh?
Why are you congratulating them?
A long time ago.
McLaurin, you can congratulate. If you want to congratulate anybody, congratulate the Bengals, because here's what happened. For all that mess that Trey did and sat there and sat out for, he got his money for this year. He got to be a free agent for next year. But if he does not hit nowhere near what he was at the previous 2 years this year, or Lord forbid he gets hurt, you're not going to you just lost your money. You don't take a stand that long and don't get a parachute. You took the emergency parachute to get you something. To get that bump up for this year, cool. And that's fine. I'm cool with that. But the whole name of the game was I wanted a long-term deal. So who told it?
He held out for a long-term deal and then accepted what the Bengals just happened to give him. And it tells me that he didn't care. He wanted, there was a number associated and he sold it for a number because he knew that if he kept holding out and didn't show up, that they were going to trade him just like they did to Carson Palmer and just like they do to everybody else that forces their hand, they were going to ship him off, and they didn't care. They don't care where he goes. They're going to pull something back for him because they hold your chips. You don't have a no trade contract.
Exactly.
You can't hold out. You're going to hold out. You're just not going to get paid. Okay, great. Go sit at home. You're not going to pay you. They're going to trade him before they did anything else. If you be part of the team, the Bengals are masters at this. And yet again, they showed the front office showed again that they are the ones in charge, not the player. And they keep going forward with this. It's just like with Shamar and his Stewart and his contract, right? When the rookie coming out, right? The language. Did you guys hear if any language being changed? No. What did he do? He signed. Why? Because they said, go ahead and go back to Texas A&M. Go ahead and sue the NFL for the right to go back to Texas A&M for next year, and then try to come into the league next year. And guess what's going to happen? You're going to sit out a year, and nobody's going to draft you. You think you're going to come back into the first round? You're crazy. You're going to take a year off of non-competition because the NCAA is not going to let you back in. Crazy. Even if they do, it's going to be halfway through the season and you've lost half of your year.
Hello, Maurice Claret and Ohio State.
No way.
No.
So here's a question: did the Bengals win out, or did their strategy win? Because remember,
the Bengals' strategy is the Bengals winning. So regardless, it's their front office that.
Well, no. The reason why I'm asking is this: did him seeing that out of all this time he had to possibly get traded, to go see what was out there, the only team, as far as we know, unless something comes out later, the only team that came a calling was Detroit. And had it not been for the Bengals wanting 4 number 1 draft picks, he would have been gone to Detroit.
I didn't even hear Detroit. When did we hear Detroit?
I didn't hear Detroit.
I heard the Raiders.
I heard Detroit via First Things First, Nick Wright.
You just said Nick Wright.
Yeah. You got to take that with a giant.
You said Nick Wright. No. The Raiders actually was looking at it and was trying to get, but the Raiders did not want to give more than 2nd or 3rd round picks.
I think the Raiders wanted a 2nd and a 3rd for Henderson. They were willing to give up a 2nd and a 3rd. First.
Yeah, nobody was going to give up a 1st because he ran into the same thing. And it's the same thing that I've been saying for the longest time when it came to Trey. Trey has played good for these past 2 years. If you look at Trey's career as a whole, these have been his best 2 years of his career. But now he's at 30. The only reason why TJ Watt got paid the money that he did was because TJ Watt has been TJ Watt from day one.
And TJ Watt is the Steelers' answer to Chris Jones.
Right.
TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, those have been and will be the standard at which all defensive linemen are going to be held for the next 10 years. They're the standards.
Yeah.
And that's
and Chris Jones and Aiden Hutchinson.
He's the next guy, Aiden Hutchinson.
And Max Crosby.
He's amazing. Yeah. Aiden Hutchinson's great. And I love Aiden Hutchinson, and I wish that the Lions would get done and, trade him to us. That'd be great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Going free.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Dumb. But they're not.
Yeah, that's not happening. Maybe if he becomes injury prone, that'll somehow happen. I know it.
Even injury prone, I still think that the Lions hold on to him just for the pure potential that Aiden Hutchinson's going to be.
Yeah.
They might not pay him as much. And I think he'd be willing to take, like, if he was injury prone, I think he'd be willing to take a discount to stay in Detroit to help them be better.
And that's why when it came down to it from day one, when this whole thing started coming out with Trey Hutchinson, I had been saying for the longest time, I have no problem with nobody getting their money, but I have a problem with you not paying attention to what the landscape is when you try to go get your money. You knew that you knew that they were going to be going after re-signing their offensive teams. You were the defensive stalwart on that team, which all to the purposes, yes, you have 17 and a half sacks. Kudos. Your defense was still trash. It was you and then everybody else. So
talked about this the other week.
Not to mention
talking about
most
this
of
the other
those
week.
sacks
Why
came
did he have it?
against.
And it's because he's not the best player on the defensive line.
right.
Sam Hubbard was the best player on the defensive line. They made sure Sam Hubbard couldn't beat them. So
Right.
it allowed Trey Henderson to beat them. And it gives him
Last year, Sam helped him out and played hurt.
Yeah.
Right. So the question
it's just like Detroit, right? With Aiden Hutchinson. Wow, you got to pay attention to Aiden Hutchinson. He might not. Is he going to have the most spectacular numbers? No, because he's going to get double teamed. And that
Double, triple,
the same without him up there.
And that's why it's going to be interesting this season, because here's the thing. Now you got both of them bookends that you were banking on signed.
Mm-hmm.
So is it going to be Trey Hendrickson getting the sacks or Stewart getting the sacks on the other end?
I think that it's going to be Stewart, because I think they're going to make the rookie beat him. If I'm an offensive coordinator and I'm the offensive line coach, I'm making the rookie beat me, because Trey Henderson's a known commodity. Okay,
right.
At 17.5, when we only single you or we don't shift protection on your side, you wreak absolute havoc. Well, let's see what happens when we double team you. I guarantee you that $30 million investment, when he leaves next year, it's literally the Bengals going, well, okay, here's your big money. We're gonna watch you fall flat on your face. Then when you leave to free agency and you sign a 3-year, $10 million deal because you got 1.5 sacks when you face opposition, you're mortal again. And that's Trey Henderson for you. That's the story. I think that's going to be the story. And it's not because I don't like him. I think because he can't. I
looked at his numbers last year. I'm sorry, 7.5 of those sacks came against the Raiders and
Carolina,
I think. Yeah.
That's what I said. That's what I'm saying. Like, I get your
12.5. Give me 12.5 against your division rivals every year. That's 2 a game, a little over 2 a game.
Mm-hmm.
And I will pay you $30 million a year because 2 a game, two meaningful sacks a game can help you win a game in your division.
And that's where
killing drives, killing momentum, and getting your team back out. You get your offense back out on the field, and after you score a touchdown, you go 3 out, you smash them down, and they're all the way backed up to their own 3 because you sacked them at third and 8, and now they're 4th and 25 on their 5. And they're putting to you, and you get the ball back off a shank on the 30-yard line. Awesome. You change the momentum of the game.
And that's where
it was Pittsburgh. That was the other team. The last week 18. That's who it was. It was Pittsburgh. Because and obviously we know by then that was week 5 of their offensive line's collapse.
Right.
So
that
was so.
I'll start to see. I'll start to watch.
Because let's be honest. When you think of the Super Bowl season, Trey Hendrickson was on that team. Was Trey Hendrickson what you heard talked about on that defensive line?
No, Sam Hubbard.
Right.
Yeah, it was Hubbard.
Right. So then when everybody started flowing towards Hubbard, Hendrickson got his sacks. Now Hubbard's retired. You have now inherited being Sam Hubbard, Trey Hendrickson. Yes, thank you for your payment. And going back to what you asked at the start off this line, Dante, when it comes to that, did the Bengals win because of their long-term strategy and from the situation at the whole right now? Yes.
All right. Well, with that, we move on to the next topic, which is
why are you laughing so
I've been being a bad boy saying that I was going to talk about it in the group, and I haven't been talking about it, but daggone it, we're talking about it today. Caleb Williams. Yeah, we're talking about this guy today.
Oh God.
Okay, yeah. That's right. No. So let's be honest. I got to see him I got to see him be present at the combine. I got to see him piss people off at the combine because they kept calling out to him, and he acted like they did not acted like nothing was going on. He was talking to his fellow people, and that was it. That was the world. But why is it that when people show you what they are, but you need somebody to hype up, so you pick a person, and then they get into the league, and then I'm gonna call a spade a spade. Eberflus was a scapegoat.
Yeah.
It's now been proven that Eberflus was a scapegoat, and it's also been proven that he said it last year, and there were signs that he couldn't handle it last year with Eberflus, and it's definitely signs there now that as much as he's saying, I want to be coached hard, it's one thing to say something, and it's one thing to actually have it happen and be able to handle it. That's two different, that tends to be two different ends of the spectrum. That's why they came up with the overall saying, be careful what you ask for. Now, in terms of the fact that he ended up at USC in his last year, I gotta say it was coincidence. But as me and you have talked, Jay, the sad part about him ended up at USC was there's been this long running quote unquote curse about quarterbacks that come out of USC. They're not mentally tough. So you can say whatever you want about everything that happened with Eberflus. Here's the bottom line. The GM 2 years in a row has done what he could with the offensive line, making sure he had wide receivers, making sure they had a decent running back so that he can have his best foot going forward, in my opinion, unless y'all can come up with some other teams. This has been the most obvious and amount of effort that has been put around a quarterback in their rookie year. If you guys can think, if you can think of some more, give me some more. The football league has been around for years, but I know in recent years he definitely has. Definitely has to be up there in the top 5. But at the end of the day, what are you seeing? You're seeing the same thing. Maybe they didn't coach him as tough as Ben Johnson is doing, and that's why it's showing more in the preseason than it did last year. But bottom line is this: he's got no excuses. And I'm sorry, when you're considered a generational talent, no, you don't get you got a new coach. This is basically your rookie year. My grand old patootie, to keep it PC. My grand old patootie, when you're a generational talent, you're supposed to be better than everybody else, but yet you have others that shine better than you did in your first year, and they didn't have as much time and effort go into making sure that there was as good a talent around you to the level that you got, and yet they looked better than you did, especially with the Patriots and Drake May and Jake Jaden shocked everybody.
He did.
You thought that that his coach was pulling a Harbaugh, like Harbaugh talks about Herbert, and Jaden got out there and showed like, no, he was shocked for a reason. So I'm sorry. He owes Chicago an apology. The fans owe the pundits an apology, that except for Nick Wright, because Nick Wright had them in the Super Bowl last year. So you
there you go with Nick Wright again.
Huh?
There you go with Nick. Gotta be wrong always, but right, kind of. You gotta stop with that guy.
Drew,
no.
Drew, you take it. Drew, you go first.
He has.
Drew, you go first.
Okay.
He's kind of like Skip Bayless.
No,
I like Skip Bayless more than I like Nick Wright.
Skip is still right. Skip is still right 40% of the time.
As long as he's not talking about like the Cowboys, it's fine.
Well, no, because he's completely changed when it came to the Cowboys. He's not like he was when he was with Steven. When he was with Steven, he was definitely delusional. But since those years,
No.
he has definitely changed. But anyway, bottom line is this: we got to stop with trying to put these people on such a high pedestal that you're calling people haters for basically pointing out clear flaws that they see, whether it be him, whether it be Shador, it doesn't matter. Bottom line is this: it's not hating if it's clearly the truth.
So I'm going to agree. I will agree that calling a spade shouldn't be considered hating. Absolutely, call it as you see it. The stat line that Caleb Williams had last year, like for a rookie, I'm going to take it. I would take that every time for a rookie. 62.5% completion percentage, right? He threw for over 3,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. That's a great stat line for a rookie quarterback. That's a great stat line. I'm sorry, that's a great stat line for a rookie quarterback. Now, what does not help is his overall record. 5-12 just doesn't cut it. Now, if you want to hang all of those on him, okay, fine. I don't see in the stats where you can hang those on him. Maybe his completion percentage was a little higher. He had more touchdowns. Okay, fine. But there are some aggregate points there where you build on what you saw out of Caleb Williams. Now, the problem that you run into with Caleb Williams is that he was anointed as the second coming of something we've never seen before. He was anointed as this behemoth that's going to throw for 7,000 yards and 40 touchdowns every year because he was smarter and more athletic and built different.
Oh, shoot. Oh, it's going to be later than that.
He's not. He's a mortal man, child. He's a child. Okay, I'm sorry. He's a child. He's in his 20s. Okay, yeah.
I've never done it.
While yes, legally he is an adult, he is a child. You gotta let him be a kid and grow and learn. The fact that pundits put all this on him, and then he went, you know what? You're right. You're absolutely right. I am the greatest. You're absolutely right. I am gonna eat this up because I went to USC and played terrible teams year after year after year, and I'm the greatest. Walking into the building, he bought in to his own hype, and he promoted himself harder than Dion promoted his own kids. And this is what you get for that. If he were a normal rookie, those are good rookie numbers for Joe Burrow, for Lamar Jackson, for Josh Allen. Those are great rookie numbers for the
quarterback. And probably would have had less sacks if he wasn't.
This is my future quarterback. Great, awesome foundation. Let's build on that. What did you do well? What didn't you do well? What did you like? Awesome. When you anoint him as the second coming of something we've never seen before, you have nowhere to go but down. And that's the problem with Caleb Williams, is he is going to have to crash and burn before he gets resurrected in Arizona when they finally get tired of Kyler Murray.
What's up, Jay? Come on.
Okay, so Drew, how much time I got?
You got 6 minutes, sir.
All right, I'm only going to take about 2.5 to 3.
Okay.
I told you so. I told you so a couple of weeks ago when we had this conversation, and we were talking about when the reports came out from when he was back at Oklahoma, and he thought that he was supposed to be given as a freshman incoming the starting position over Spencer Rattler, when Spencer Rattler was a dark horse Heisman candidate, and he pitched a fit back then. And then Lincoln Riley, in his inept wisdom, took the job at USC, and instead of he couldn't bring Rattler, so he brought Caleb Williams there. A lot of people forget Caleb Williams won that Heisman his junior year, not his his sophomore year, not his junior year. That junior year was when they were trash. And that's when Jaden Daniels won the Heisman. So all the hype all the things that they have hyped him up to the point of they anointed him this, and he ate it alive. He has always had an arrogant type of smug attitude when it came to everything around him, that everything has to be done towards him. I'm gonna give you guys a comparison, and y'all might laugh, but here's the truth. The only difference between him and Anthony Richardson is that Anthony Richardson had less hype than him.
Yeah.
He does not know how to read an offense. There was never a time where he had to sit there in a pro offense and actually learn it. Even if you look at it when he was with Oklahoma and with USC when he won that championship, a lot of this, he won that Heisman. A lot of his stuff was based off of one read and go. He never had to learn how to break down an offense.
A lot of backyard football.
Exactly. So what Ben Johnson is making him do is exposing what should have been known from all the pundits and all the Nick Youngs out here. The Nick Wright. Sorry, I said Nick Young. I'm thinking
I don't know who Nick Young is, but I don't want to.
Swaggy P from old Laker days. Iggy Azalea's old ex. Really. With Nick,
I'm inept, man.
I'll tell you about her later.
Pop culture, I'm inept, man. You can tell me off air.
Yeah, but when it comes to Nick Wright and everybody else with that, we fall in love with the metrics. Same thing that Indianapolis came to realization about with Anthony Richardson. You fell in love with the metrics and the size. Oh, he can throw it like a cannon. Oh, he can run. But can he run an offense?
They wanted their own they wanted their own Lamar.
Right. But here's the difference between Lamar and Anthony Richardson. Where Lamar knew how to read an offense from Louisville a little bit, he took the time to learn and become better as he went along. At some point, a lot of quarterbacks that last the 10, the 15, the 20 years, the Flaccos of the era, you get to a point to where your physical strength and capabilities aren't going to be the same as it was when you were 21 years old. But if you got the mental faculties in order to know how to read and direct the offense from there, you can actually offset that. These guys don't want to put the time in order to do it. They just think you roll the ball out there and I'm going to make it happen. Yeah, you can do that when you're playing up against a lesser Pac-10 at that time. I would have loved to seen him go over with USC to the Big Ten. He would have got his head cracked open every single time. Can you imagine him trying to run away from an Ohio State defense or a Wisconsin defense or a Penn State defense with the BS that he's doing in the NFL right now? Yeah. No, he would get killed. It's there. The only thing I can say about that is that I told you so. And I am, as a USC diehard, that's how much I disliked him. That was the one quarterback. You can't put the USC curse on him coming from there because he was a jerk before he even got there. It just made it worse.
So let's compare rookie Caleb Williams to USC Caleb Williams, where he had much more experience coming off his Heisman, even with his Heisman Trophy winning season, right?
Mm-hmm.
At USC. What would you guess? How many touchdowns did he throw for? Or did he have?
Only like 14.
He threw for 42 touchdowns.
That second year?
First year at USC, his
Heisman year.
His Heisman year. He threw 42 touchdowns.
I don't think he hit 20 that next year.
No, he did. At 4,500 yards. Well, what did he throw his first year in college, or his first year in the pros? 3,500 yards and 20 touchdowns. His last year at USC, which was way down, Heisman year, he threw for 3,600 yards and 30 touchdowns.
Then why the heck did
he's developing a pattern. You saw him regress against a much easier opponents. The Pac-12 was so easy.
Oh yeah, the Pac-12 was horrible that year.
It was so easy. You didn't have anybody in it.
Shador was there.
Lost, you had nobody in it. They were so bad. The Pac-12 was so bad. You had nobody in it, and yet you still only 3,600 yards.
Mm-hmm.
You should have. Like, I'm pretty sure if you took just name a average passer from last year in a major conference.
Look at Dylan Gabriel's numbers last year for Oregon.
Will Howard from Ohio State, Penn State's quarterback. Take take anybody out of the major conference and put them over. They're throwing for 10,000 yards.
Hold on, because I'm about to look at this one.
I mean, I'm sorry, they just are. The Pac-12 is so bad that you should not be throwing for less than $4,000 in your junior year after having. Now, if it was your first year starting, I could understand, but this is your second year starting, third year actually seeing the field, because he did see time in his freshman year at Oklahoma. He threw for 1,900 yards at Oklahoma. Yeah, it was in 11 games, 211 passes. Like, he had time at Oklahoma. It's not like he was fresh in his junior year where we're seeing this. This is his third year in.
So, okay.
He's killing it.
So I just brought up, I'm looking up that last season right now for Caleb Williams versus, and I just did it just for the sake of trying to rub it in his face because I don't like him. Where'd it go?
See, this is that petty stuff we talk about.
Yeah, I'm uber petty. I understand it. Is his middle name Saquon?
Oh, I love the petty, man.
Hello, college career, Oklahoma, USC stats. All right, so here's a comparison for you. If he threw for 68.6% completion percentage, 3,333 yards, 30 touchdowns, 5 picks.
Yep.
That second year.
Yeah.
USC. If I tell you that there was a quarterback that threw for 73% completion percentage, 3,857 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions last year, who would come to mind?
Will Howard.
Dylan Gabriel.
Okay. That doesn't surprise me either.
So Oregon's quarterback, who was undefeated up until he played against Ohio State in the Rose Bowl, threw for the exact same stats.
And remind me, what conference were they in again?
Oh, last year they was in the Big Ten.
Yeah. Oregon was in Big Ten, right?
Yeah.
Playing those hard ass schools.
Yeah.
Yeah, that have defense.
Had no chance.
Really good defense.
You know what? You're about to maybe look up Will Howard stats from that year, just last year, just to compare it.
Yeah. Look up the year before when they put a spanking on Shador.
For me, Will Howard is like that middle of the road guy that, like, reliable, not over the top. He's not going to absolutely destroy the field, but he's not gonna, he might end up killing you with an untimely interception, but.
Right.
Will Howard last year in the Big Ten had a 73% completion percentage, threw for 4,010 yards, 35 touchdowns, 10 interceptions.
There you go. Yeah. Okay.
The number one with the bullet, the best quarterback to come out in decades, the best talent that could possibly be in here with the nail polish and the flair and everything else that comes along with it.
LA, man, does it surprise you? Nail polish.
Man. Wow.
Cannot even make. He is on his second coach, and he's with a coach that resurrected Jared Goff's career in Detroit. He turned Detroit from being a team that we was always sitting up there like to where that offense was humming.
They could. They traded to get Jared Goff. Everybody went, oh, they could do something. If Jared Goff proves to be better being retreaded and back in a new, oh, he could do something. And Ben Johnson got a hold of him and turned him into what Jared Goff was supposed to be, what LA thought they were drafting.
Yeah. And it's crazy now that now you put that with the LeBron James of the NFL right now.
What's that?
You put that with the young LeBron James of the NFL right now. The chosen one, the one that's supposed to lead the league into where it's supposed to go.
Next you're going to see, you think Trey Henderson's going to come out with painted fingernails, rainbow colors?
I wouldn't say rainbow. I don't think he's gonna do rainbow. He'll
have them blacked out with 30 million written across it.
He's gonna have 30 MIL across from the thumb all the way to the pinky. The L will be on the pinky.
Love it. All right. Enough bashing on Caleb Williams.
There's never enough bashing on Caleb Williams.
Fun as it is. What do we got up next?
What we got up next is a segment that you threw at us today.
Oh.
Says top 3 college football players in the last 25 years.
Well, it's from Bleacher Report. I'm going to get, are you guys okay with 15 on this? I think 15 minutes on this. You guys okay with 15 minutes on this?
Yeah, that's what okay.
All right, let's do 15 minutes on this. And before we start the timer, I'm going to put it out there. I don't agree with, this is from Bleacher Report. This is where I got that. And I don't agree with their lists at all. I think they're close in some respects, way far off in others. But we're going to have, Jay, are you okay to start this one out?
Yeah, I'll start out.
Go ahead and get this to start off, Jay.
All right, so we've already discussed this a little bit earlier, but number one for me, one of the top ones for me would have to be Reggie Bush. I watched USC coming up. I watched everything during that time frame. Him and Liddell White and Mark Sanchez and that whole team was.
I think it was Matt Leinart.
Yeah, it was. No, Sanchez was on the second year, I thought, but Leinart was the first one.
Maybe.
That whole thing. If Vince Young would not have gave us the best ending to a national championship game in pretty much the history of national championship games, in there they would have been considered a dynasty. Yes. And the crux of that dynasty was Reggie Bush, because no matter what you did with him, he was a Swiss Army knife. You put him at running back, he could break a run on you at any time. You put him out there in the slot, or you had him catch out of the backfield, he can break it and go downfield. He ran back kicks and punts. He was always a threat to take that back. You had to know where he was at all times. And it's only been a few players to where you had to have that mentality of, oh, snap, 5's going out on the field. We need to go, or we need to be ready to go with it. Then after him, it's kind of a mixed bag, because you have so many players that have came out over the past 25 years that have changed the dynamics of what the whole thing with college football has been. It's been kind of hard to try to put it down for who would you say it would be. Tim Tebow comes into play definitely because of what he did with Florida, and more importantly, what Florida has done since he's left. They've not really been able to do anything for him, including their coach, during that time frame. Tim Tebow kind of transcended college football during that time frame. So I have to give him his props there. And then my third one, I'm trying to think who on defense really changed the game in the past 25 years. And when I sit there and think about it, it really wasn't that many people. The only person that I could think of that you would have to give their props to for that is Jadeveon Clowney. Because if you remember Jadeveon Clowney when he played for SC, teams used to try to double and triple team him coming off that line and could not stop him. And we all, and Dante, I know it's going to hurt you when I mention this one, the Michigan game, when he had caused a fumble and they said it wasn't a fumble, and then he came through that next play and just completely obliterated the guy off the off the snap with that. That's what it should be for that. And I get where Bleacher Report put Cam Newton up there. We all have heard me rant about Cam. I always thought that Cam was that pretty much that lucky 1 year situation that you get because he couldn't catch on where he was at before. He transfers over to Auburn. Auburn's bringing in a new coach, and everything fell into place. And that's what that was the luck of the draw. I couldn't knock it, but you can't even really say that the championship game overwhelmed you when he won that championship. It was just Cam being Cam. And it translated into the NFL for a little bit, but we had that discussion too. Cam was pretty much a better Anthony Richardson. And I hate to keep on making that comparison. He was an Anthony Richardson that they let do one read and then go. And if he could get that one read off, he would throw the football. So for him to be considered in the top 3 from Bleacher Report, I don't believe that one. I can't take that one on the hand. But this is one to where I'm really gonna sit back and do some research on because I, for one, am shocked that nobody on defense was in the top 3. Dante, what?
Yeah. Defense in the top 3 is tough, and while you have the makings of a lot of arguments when you go, well, this guy made this team better, or this guy had really great tackles right when it needed, or they built the defense around this guy. There was a few around, and I think but you got to go with large names. And I'm going to get the defense out of the way because I think there's one is Dominican Sue. I think that
damn it, I could not.
Him in Nebraska was just kept getting better and better and better. He was there he didn't leave early.
Nope.
He played 5 years. He got a red shirt. I think he got a red shirt his freshman year. But he played utterly dominant anchor, but he played in Nebraska, so he doesn't see a whole lot of postseason bowl game success. But just dominant top to bottom. I struggle to find another player that was as dominant. Maybe Chase Young when but again, that's like for a season. Dominican Sue is there. He was dominant that long, but
basically, if he was on the field, he was a problem. Yeah.
Well, that's fine, but we're looking on field. For me, where they got it wrong, and it's not that I didn't like Reggie Bush. It's that for me, when I look at it, it's the best college football players. You have to do more than one season. You have to be the man kicking ass, taking names more than one season. You can have that's why Cam Newton is out. Cam Newton maybe had one of the best college football seasons ever. Absolutely. By all means, he had an amazing year. He deserved all the accolades, winning the national title, getting his flowers. He deserves that for that year. But past that year, he's not that great of a college player. His whole career was 1 year, just like Joe Burrow, same thing. He had 2 seasons where he played. One was okay, and then his last season was immaculate. Okay, great. He gets his props for that last year. When I think about college players, Tim Tebow, again, 4 years, played, he's dominant, won a lot, he was out, he played a lot. Tim Tebow's on that list for me. The other 2, the next one is a surprise. It didn't really surprise me, but Colt McCoy was amazing at Texas for 4 solid years, playing amazing quarterback.
He was.
Yeah, he was.
With completion percentage in 3 of his 4 years. threw for well over 3,000 yards every single season. Great. His last 2 seasons, he was in the Heisman Hall. Great player. Up next, the next 2 are where I struggle because of the longevity for the one, because he only played 2 years in college. But they were an amazing 2 years that he played, and that's Johnny Manziel. His time at A&M was amazing. I'm sorry, his time at A&M was amazing. I mean, he threw for 3,700 and 4,100 yards. It was amazing. It was must-see TV every time he was. How good he was playing. The next guy, and this is where it's tough because he only played those 2 years. They were great 2 years. And he did win his Heisman his freshman year and then finished 5th. The next guy is Darren McFadden. I think Darren McFadden is overlooked by a whole lot of people. He is slept on because of his injuries in the NFL. But when you go back and you look at his ability and what he was able to do at Arkansas, he was like, that's where him and Johnny Manziel for me are 3. They're tied right there because of just their quantity, just what they could do with what they had. So that's me. Those are my 4. But yeah.
Dante, who you got?
Holy crap. I'm looking at the list of omissions, which is funny that you brought up Johnny Manziel because apparently he was omitted from the list.
I'm wondering if it was. Yeah, I'm wondering why, because he had amazing numbers. I mean, Johnny Manziel was amazing.
Says
I didn't like the guy at all, but like personally, I didn't like him. But he can't lie with numbers, man.
What they put after his name doesn't really speak to why he was omitted. And I'm just kind of looking through the list. Unfortunate for Mr. Pollock that his career didn't go anywhere. Unfortunate for him and unfortunate for the Bengals since they drafted him.
David Pollock was a freak injury because of poor tackling, and he made, I think, the right call by retiring.
Yeah.
But yeah, David Pollock is another one of those guys. Like, constantly good.
Sorry, I noticed that Deshaun Watson was on the in the top 25 of it. Andrew Luck. And Andrew Luck was a dog at Stanford.
Yeah.
Mr. McCaffrey, another dog. Joe Thomas for Wisconsin. That name sounds familiar. I don't really
Joe Thomas, the lineman. The lineman.
Roy Williams.
Oh, he was the offensive lineman.
Yeah.
Cleveland.
You remember Roy Williams?
Yeah, he was a basketball coach.
No, not that Roy Williams. The football player. You know who I'm talking about. Terrell Suggs.
Williams that the Detroit Lions took, like, in a row. Like, every year they drafted a Williams #1 wide receiver every year for like 7 years in a row.
Wow.
Hey, Devontae Smith.
Or snarky, I think is the right word.
Travis Hunter, Lamar Jackson.
Sorry,
Baker.
Should not be on that list.
Nice. Baker.
Baker should be, absolutely. I think Baker.
Oh, yeah. Baker, yeah. Baker should be.
Wait. Go back. Did you say that Lamar shouldn't be on the list?
No, Hunter. Travis Hunter. I don't think should be on that list.
No, Travis Hunter definitely should not be on that list.
No, Lamar Jackson in Louisville, especially his senior year, I didn't really pay attention to him before. I didn't really hear anything about him before his last year. I don't know if it was junior or senior year. He had an amazing year. But before that, I didn't hear anything about him. But there's no reason that he didn't have probably 1,500 rushing yards and 3,000 passing yards. He was playing in the AAC or something. who were they? I don't even know who they were, what conference they were in, but I mean, he was hamstrung by a bad coach. I know that.
No, they was in ACC during that time frame.
Was Louisville?
Louisville was, yeah.
Okay. Well, still, you only had one good team in the ACC at that
point. Clemson.
Wow.
Everybody else, it was a rotating. Who was going to be number 2 after Clemson?
Yeah, it was like Clemson, Wake Forest had a good year during that time frame. Tech had a good year during that time frame.
Louisville.
Yeah. So when did things change?
Barr had a great college career. I mean, there's no reason why he wouldn't. He didn't change. He hasn't really changed anything. Like, he's just gotten to be a better pocket passer since he's been in the NFL. So there's no think that Lamar didn't have a great college.
Well, he always had that ability. It was just that unfortunately the line always forced him to run. But what I meant by that is it used to be that in order to get stuck in these conversations, they went by your whole entire, like Jay said, they went by your whole entire career, and you usually they went for the guys that did the 4-banger. Now, when did that change and why? Why do you think?
It didn't change
4 years. They were left early. Transfers.
The transfer lately, it's been the transfer portal.
Right. Well, obviously, yeah, I know that part, but I'm talking about like back then.
Back then, it was because the NFL really wasn't pushing for you to be younger to come into the league. They wanted you to be seasoned when you came into the league.
That's why, you had to have, like, so I don't know if you guys remember this, but there was a running back at Ohio State when they won their national title.
Correct.
And it was Maurice.
Yeah, Maurice, correct.
Yeah, I remember that dude.
He had to come in early because he had 2 years. He had an amazing sophomore year, amazing sophomore year, and he wanted to cash in, and he sued the NFL because to get into the draft because of his age, and so that changed things up. And he busted out because he just wasn't ready.
He wasn't ready.
Well, they screwed him. And I told everybody that they were going to screw him.
We'll let you come in and get demolished because you're 30 pounds underweight. You're not nearly fast enough to be a scat back LaDainian Tomlinson type. You're gonna die. Okay, fine. We'll see you. You can fine. We'll let you. And then he died. He promptly died. He got obliterated on the Denver depth chart because he couldn't beat scrimmage guys. He couldn't beat practice squad guys. So
okay, so. Yeah. So I love that guy because I told everybody what was going to happen to him. When he won that case, I looked at everybody that was rah, and I said, I don't know what you rah about. This is the NFL. I'm about to tell you what they about to do. It's going to be Wednesday, the week of the draft, and that's when they're going to overturn it. And him and anybody that was riding with him is going to be screwed. And sure enough, he got screwed. Mike Williams got screwed because Ohio State told him. They said, hey, dude, don't do this. If you do this, you cannot come back because we are not catching no heat from backing you on this. So, and Mike Williams got told the same thing by USC, and I believe Peter Warwick, either Peter Warwick or the other wide receiver that came out of Florida State.
Warwick? 4 years. I'm pretty sure Warwick played at least 3. He might have played all.
Warwick for Florida State, he did 3. When he came out.
Who was the other wide receiver on the other side? If it wasn't him, it was the other wide receiver. There was a Florida State wide receiver that got caught up in it too. Because
Peter worked 5 seasons at Florida State.
Who was the other?
Yeah. When this all happened, there was another wide receiver on the other side of him. He was the one that got caught up in it too. Because he ended up going to the Jets. Yeah, he ended up going.
Williams?
Huh?
Wasn't his name Mike Williams?
No, Mike Williams was with USC.
It was multiple Mike Williams though. Hold on.
No. It was something else because I actually liked him. I liked Peter Warwick and I liked him. And if I'm not mistaken, he ended up with the Jets. But yeah, that whole thing, and then he showed up to the combine and he wasn't in shape, and he basically he
Bernius Coles.
Yeah,
Okay.
Lavernius Coles. Yes.
Bernius Coles played 4 years too.
Did he?
Yeah, but he did try to jump in with what's his face on that. He did try to jump in, and because he ended up not being able to go back to Florida State. Mike Williams from USC ended up not being able to go back. And then obviously Maurice Claret couldn't go back, and then he got mad that they stuck to their guns, and then he told on the tutors. He's like, "Well, the tutors was doing our work, for us to make sure we passed." And every time from that moment on, every time I met somebody and they said they were a Florida State fan, I would go, "I'm sorry," and they go, "Why?" And I would just say Maurice Claret, and they went, "Oh." They would always just go, "Oh," yeah, man, my bad.
That's what got our current
Maurice Claret went to Ohio, not Florida State.
Maurice Claret was what?
He went to Ohio State, not Florida State.
But with him pulling in Coles,
yeah, I know.
That lawsuit, it messed up a lot of people.
I said when I was talking to Ohio State fans, I would apologize to them when they said why. I would say Maurice Claret, and they would just laugh and say, "Oh yeah, touche."
Why? Because he was an amazing running back who won a national title for the Buckeyes?
Because of all the crap shoot that happened after that. You can say how amazing he was, and you can gloss over everything that happened. But bottom line was this: he never should have took on the NFL. He showed up to the combine out of shape. The only reason he got to Denver was because Kubiak was there. Matter of fact, he didn't think that nobody was going to pick him up. And Maurice Claret admitted that John Kubiak called him. He had just left. He was driving up the street, and he said, "Dude, why did you leave? I told you I had you." And that was that's how he ended up in Denver. And it ended up not working out. And then he turned around, and after that didn't work out in Denver, he ended up coming back to Columbus and ended up doing jail time for armed robbery.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be why I said that. You can use his time in Ohio State and how great he was, and gloss over
he was excellent
everything
Ohio State
after that. That's okay. That's cool, but I need to make sure you do that all the time. Just don't do that for your favorite player on Ohio State. Make sure you do that all the time. When they bring up other players' names, talk about how great their career was and kind of gloss over, like Deshaun Watson. Oh man, he was so great when Houston had an offensive line, and kind of gloss over that whole thing with the Browns and the whole off the field stuff. If you're gonna do it all the time. But that's
we're talking about a defined set of time that happened when he was at a particular place. I'm not saying that he's this model citizen that you should go form your life over. What I'm saying is that he was a great running back for Ohio State and helped them win a national title. That's it. I didn't say he was Citizen of the Year.
Oh, he could
so you can't put him in the ground and play all of his stats and accomplishments because he's a dumbass off the field.
Dumbass.
Well, it bled onto the field actually, because you show up to the combine out of shape. You know better than that.
He's not an Ohio State Buckeye anymore. He's not there anymore. I don't know what to tell you. That's on him. It's his personal decision. That has zero reflection on the school, on the coaching staff, on whatever. That's a him thing. He went in that independent of the school. That's why he didn't have a pro day. That's why he didn't go with any other Ohio State guys that were eligible for the draft. He was there alone. He went all by himself.
Well, yeah, he had to be because he took on the NFL and he lost.
That's fine, but you can't pin that on Ohio State.
I didn't pin that on Ohio State.
Why are you trashing Ohio State because Maurice Claret went there? You got to apologize because Maurice Claret went there?
Well, I brought up his stuff, and that's where you went with it. I was nowhere over there with it. You took it back to that time, which brought it in the conversation.
Apologize. Maurice Claret went there because Maurice Claret. Oh, I got to apologize because Maurice Claret went there. Why do I have to feel bad for a guy going to that school? You have to explain.
Oh, and then the other part that I neglected to mention while he was there, since we're going,
Okay.
how he got himself caught up and had to be one of the dumbest lies that a person could tell in history, which ended up getting Ohio State busted because he was clearly receiving things as a part of him going there, and he got himself busted because he tried to say that how big was the TV, Jay? Wasn't it like a 40 to 50 inch? And he had a bunch of CDs and a computer all in this car. What?
It was something crazy with the size of TV.
And then that immediately made everybody go, wait a minute. You don't have a job and you don't have much money. How did you get all this stuff? And then that ended up getting the local dealership busted.
Sure.
I forgot about that part.
Absolutely.
And that did happen while he was going to school, while he was winning the championships.
Yep.
I forgot about that part. But
was the problem that there is not a single person out there that if they are an actual Ohio State fan will tell you that Jim Tressel didn't fuck Ohio State over with all of that improper benefits and bullshit that went on. 100%.
And that's our lieutenant governor now. So
I swear to God, if he's the governor, I quit. I'm moving to Kentucky. If Jim Tressel becomes the governor, I quit.
man,
Jim Tressel needs to stay at Youngstown State and stop screwing over Ohio. Go to Michigan.
When I saw that appointment come across where they sat there and they said, and since we filled in the Senate seat with the former lieutenant governor, we're going to appoint Jim Tressel as the new lieutenant governor. I said, what?
Well, at least he get elected.
No, he got appointed.
That's fine.
He'll be all
right. After this year, it's fine. Do anything anyway.
All right. That was fun.
I love it.
That was fun. Now on to
top 3, Dante. I apologize, man.
I did end up finding a ripped from the headlines. And
we got
it's with the UFC because I forgot I saw this article and it made me laugh as soon as I saw it.
Let's hear it.
So Johnny Walker.
Yep.
Does anybody remember him?
I do.
Yeah.
Well, apparently he's back in the UFC and he's back to his winning ways, and he just had a miraculous win against Zhang Mingyang.
Really?
And he was quoted as calling out all of his detractors, saying that that were talking about he didn't have a chin.
Yep.
So, and that made me laugh, and I instantly decided, okay, let's go down the rabbit hole. Right?
Okay.
Because there's a reason. Like I said, you can't say that it's hate if there's some truth to it, right? So he has 9 losses, right? Now, question before a question before I ask my main question.
Okay.
What is supposed to be considered like complete knockouts? The KO or the TKO or both?
KO.
KOs. Knockouts are KOs. TKOs are stoppages. I don't count as unless that person is lying prone, stiff, and
if their eyes is closed,
yeah.
If you can sit there and drop an elbow on them and they still be in the same position, yeah, that's
you know the difference between knockout and stoppage. Like TKO, while I understand them using the terminology, you really need to get away from TKO and move it over into ref stoppage. He wasn't defending himself. He was eating a lot of big shots, so they stopped it so he didn't get just obliterated.
He didn't have
Okay.
brain damage.
So move away from TKO and move it into ref stoppage, and that tells you what kind of a fighter they typically are. Knockout artists versus ground and pounds, and so that'll change your idea about what your fighter you're looking at.
All right. The reason why I bring that up is because of all his fight losses, which he has 9, 4 of them are by KO. And if you counted TKOs, that makes 6.
So the KO TKO, let me look here.
He has 2 more TKOs where he lost. So that's 6 out of 9 if you count TKOs. But 4 out of 9, that's about half. And so that's not completely unfair to say that you don't that your chin was an issue, because even the TKOs by punches, he got caught on the chin. He just didn't go out.
It's tough when they show TKO KO punch. They don't break it down far enough. I like, you got to actually watch what happened. But yeah, I mean, either way, he was stopped. The ref stopped him.
Yeah,
so he wasn't allowed to fight anymore. So yeah, it's the same thing effectively. And yeah, you can call it your chin, you can call it whatever you want, but the fact that you got beat up, like, you got beat up so bad that the ref had to stop it, like that's chin or not. Okay, something happened.
Yeah, I'm looking at the breakdown per Wikipedia.
Okay.
Somebody in the realm of mixed martial arts, they counted those two TKOs as knockouts. So that would be 6, which is over half, which is the reason why people believe that you don't have a chin. So that's how it goes. We were talking about Tyrone Woodley earlier. There may be some real rah fans of him that may want to downplay it. You can downplay it all you want. Bottom line is his losses is usually when his chin got checked. So it wasn't pretty, and it became easier. It became kind of easier depending on who we're talking about in that lore, and that's where you get that reputation of, oh, hey, now his chin is done. You know, they don't just see you get knocked out once or twice and go, oh man, that dude ain't got no chin no more. No, it has to happen like multiple times, at least 4 or 5 times before you get that moniker. So especially seeing that this is his first win since his last 2 losses, and his last 2 losses KO by punches.
Yeah.
So I get it. I get him wanting to change the narrative, but in trying to change the narrative, quit treating people like a lot of these professionals do, and acting like that just because they're not doing what you're doing, that they have no idea. There are some people that the way they critique and they analyze, they actually don't have an idea. But there are others that have been watching it and literally, I'm a person, I watch it, I study. I don't care. As much as I also would like to see a submission, and I also would like to see a knockout, I will watch any match because I love watching mixed martial arts, and I love the mental chess of it all. And you're playing mental chess while trying to physically hurt someone and not get hurt in the process. It's all a chess game. It's definitely more difficult than it looks. I've only done it on a sparring level, but still, it's more difficult than it looks. You can say whatever you want, but until you even in getting in with the right person that you spar with, if they're good enough, they will show you this is not Don't just think that because you're physically gifted, or maybe, oh, I've been fighting since I was a little kid. Yeah, that don't mean that you can get in there and do martial arts. Just like if you're a sports athlete, baseball, basketball, football, that don't mean that you can just jump in there. So the same thing with professional wrestling. There's levels to these things, and you got to make sure to get the mental part of it before you start throwing your what you can and cannot do. So um so yeah, but I thought it was funny. As soon as I read it, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. But I get it. That's the realm that we live in now. It's like, hey, you don't have to believe the truth. You can live your truth. Like, no, you better off living the truth, because the truth is gonna save you in the end and make you do better. And that's my opinion on it. What do you guys say?
I mean, looking at now, I don't. I've seen. I can tell you that I've seen Johnny Walker probably fight 3 times. I don't remember the fights. I don't. There was nothing memorable about them. They weren't like. It wasn't like watching. Ben Askren take the knee from Masvidal. It wasn't anything as memorable like that. Looking through his performances, I mean, he's on the higher end of or better end of fighters as far as record goes, 22-9. If you out of 31 fights, if you have 6 knockouts, KO, TKO, where there's a stoppage, maybe I can throw out half of those by ref stoppage, because maybe you weren't just defending as like you're supposed to. And then the other half will be knockouts. Okay, 3 out of 31. And, but if the last 2 times you went out there, you did get knocked out, and you were showing that sign of, oh, even in his win, right? So he got a unanimous decision against Anthony Smith. And maybe in that unanimous decision, when Anthony Smith was landing strikes, he didn't land a whole ton, but maybe when he did show a little bit of wear and tear, like, oh, hey, maybe he staggered him with a shot or 2. So that opens that conversation to say, hey, did you guys see anything in Johnny Walker's performance that might lead you to suspect he's heading towards maybe being susceptible to the big knockout? Getting caught on that button. Maybe your button got bigger. Maybe your button got exposed. Something like that, because everybody has one. It's just a matter of getting it found.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's jaw. Sometimes it's your ear. Sometimes it's right behind your ear. Whatever it is, somebody's gonna find it eventually. Okay. There's not a fighter out there that has been doing this for longer, for as many years as you're doing it, and don't get knocked out somewhere. Maybe not professionally, but sparring, whatever, you're gonna catch it. Okay, that's just reality. It's what happens. Okay. And maybe that's what happened the last 2 fights. He goes out there, these guys know what they're targeting because it was exposed in an earlier fight. So now they're targeting that area. And if you get hit with it and it sends you for a loop, it might not put you out totally, but if it sends you for a loop, sends you to a knee, and that guy, takes advantage and starts just beating the living crap out of you to where the ref has to stop it. Well, guess what? They figured it out. So that's now the narrative, because you have two fights that maybe happened that way. And then he comes back and wins. And in it, it's not just a win. He considers it a dominant win. And it was. Looking at the striking, second round landing 50 strikes to 20. That's a lot. That's a dominant performance. Getting in 50 strikes to 20 is a dominant performance. So he's coming back. He wants to change the narrative. So he's ticked off that the narrative was, hey, you got a glass jaw. Your button's exposed, and you don't have the ability to win anymore, to move to the higher levels. Yeah, you can still be in the UFC. You're better than 85% of the guys out there. It's that top 3% that you're not part of that is the championship percentage. Yeah, you can be on some cards, you can do some mid stuff, whatever, but you're not going to get a title shot. That's the narrative that he wants to change, and the narrative that he's ticked off about is that he is no longer considered eligible to be at the top of the card.
And I think I think realistically, for me, I'm from an ilk of, okay, if you're trying to prove somebody wrong about it, shut up and just prove them.
100%.
You don't have to talk about it. You get a lot of people that sit there and they've been doubted, and then that's what they use as their motivation, and that's fine. But when you start voicing it, it starts becoming starts it starts it stops becoming more of a reason for you to obtain this, and it starts becoming more of an excuse if you fall flat on your face on your journey through it.
Right.
So if you're sitting there and you want to keep on, he wanted to bring it up and everything. I get it. I get it. I get it. But at the same time, just shut up and fight. Just shut up and fight and get it over with. Once you get it over with and you get the fights down with it, then you'll be able to do what you got to do.
I do have one question.
Uh-huh.
Does him going, well, I need to change narrative, bleep all you guys for doing this to me and telling me that, this, that, and the other, talking about my jaw and my inability and I get knocked out all the time or whatever. Does it feed the narrative more and make people dive deeper? And so this is going to live on for even longer because of his inability just to shut up and let his performances speak for him.
Yeah, it's gonna make it to where people instead of it being on, oh my God, look at how he's turned around, it's gonna be, oh well, this is just another part of his comeback jerk story that he wanted to rant about after the last fight for it. It's gonna diminish it.
I think so too.
Well,
I agree. He goes from the underdog, from the ability to be this loved underdog, when he comes back, maybe rattles off 3 or 4 wins, puts himself in contention for a belt or at least the #1 contendership. And now they're like, well, now I hope you lose. I hope you stumble, you arrogant SOB. I don't
to where now you're the villain again instead of the hero.
Just talk the crap and you didn't prove anything, and you now expect us to give you all this respect because after 2 consecutive losses, you come back with a win. But okay.
And that's what's going to get him, because the numbers end up not going in your favor for the people that do this. That's why they say don't do this, because because he can't get knocked out anymore. It can't happen. The rest of his career, he can't get knocked out anymore, or else that's what feeds it. What you were saying?
Stopped again. He can't go limp anymore. He can be stopped. Like the ref can stop it again. Because there's some error there. You have some wiggle room as the fighter to go, you know what? He stopped that prematurely and put the blame back on the ref, where he's like, hey, fighter safety tells me that I need to stop this fight, but I could have kept going. He just didn't know who I was.
He can't Caleb Williams himself out of the starting position.
So
that's what it is.
Yeah. Right. And he can do that. You are absolutely right. We live in America, and that is his right to do that as an American. But here's the problem: people that are what's that word I'm looking for, that people always call people like when they're in the, like really into football, really into basketball compared to everybody else.
Fanatics?
Scapegoat?
No, purists, UFC purists. The UFC purists, they're gonna be able to watch the fight and know, and know what it was. Like with Tito. Tito is a respectable dude. He was a talented dude, but man, he used to kill me. When he fought hurt and he won, oh man, you see how good I am. I fought him and I got hurt at such a time, and I still came in here and I did my thing. But when he lost, oh man, I was in training camp. I was hurt. I knew I was hurt, and that's why I lost tonight. Okay, pick a lane, bro. Pick a lane. Now.
It was a victim of his own success, and Fame really quickly just did it. Him and Fame just didn't agree with each other because he didn't know how to handle it. I think Fame destroyed him. He didn't understand the balance, and he allowed his, oh, I'm famous now, I can have all of this, and it tilted over.
Well, yeah, I mean, he had the money, he had the porn star wife, he had an easy person to beat up on, and Ken Shamrock who wouldn't let it go. I mean, yeah.
Ken Shamrock would have been a very bad man had he known when to retire.
Yes, I have all.
He knew when to retire. It's called the WWE.
He went afterward. He still went back to the UFC afterward.
Yeah.
However, his brother is a really bad man. Frank is a really
oh yeah, he did PFL too.
Frank fight. He was a scary dude. Frank Shamrock was of that family. He's
just as cocky as his brother. That have you looked up online that fight between him and Boss Rudin?
Yes.
Oh my God, that fight was great.
Great fight.
That fight was great.
It was a great fight. But like, yeah, and everybody has their balance of talk versus show, and guys like you got to look at, for Johnny Walker. I think his big thing is that nobody knows who he is outside of the fight circle. If you walk up to somebody and that's just on the periphery, they probably remember him from a few years ago when he had a few of those large, where he won like 4 or 5 in a row, and they were like really paying attention to him. But then he fell off the main pay-per-view fight cards, and he kind of just fell out. And it's like, okay, well, he's not the talker like everybody else could be. You had guys that stayed on that card.
His fight style was weird
because they had really great mouths, and they ticked people off. And they're like, you know what? I'm going to fight you next because you ticked me off so much that I'm going to fight you next. And I'm just going to beat on you because you ticked me off so much. Chael Sonnen was great at it. Chael Sonnen was
that dude
at ticking people off, keeping himself
that
in the
dude.
Regardless of how good or bad he was performing, he was in the spotlight because he could just take
that dude.
What he said. He's a good fighter. I like Chael Sonnen a lot, but he was in a lot of fights that he probably shouldn't have been.
I came to respect him more once I listened to him on his podcast.
Chael Sonnen's talent level was so, put him in an area, put him in an orbit of something, and then his ability to tick people off, what he said, put him into an entirely different orbit that he might not have ever made.
And Dana ran with it
alone. And his opportunity, the same guys like, I mean, there's a ton of guys like that move there, and Johnny Walker, I think, is trying to get to that because he knows that maybe his talent level isn't that great to put him into the orbit that he wants to be in.
He's so unorthodox that basically is what got everybody's attention initially until he started losing. And good, I do remember that part. He is very unorthodox fighter, very a guy not to be underestimated.
Chael Sonnen fighter was really good. I like Chael Sonnen.
Yeah, his mouth killed it for me. Especially against Anderson. The fact that every time he opened his mouth, he got a fight against Anderson. Then he lost twice to Anderson, and then he moved up in weight and opened his mouth, and he instantly got a title shot against John Bones Jones. I'm like, dude, okay, no. I just so basically the politics killed it for me. But when he later retired, and then I got to watch a few episodes and got to really hear it was something about me hearing him on his podcast that it was like, okay, all right, hindsight 2020, you weren't really that bad of a guy. I just didn't like the politics, and he knows his stuff, and which I kind of knew before, but it was just the fact that it was just rubbing me the wrong way that he was doing the WWE thing. It was like, hey, mouth opens, title shot. It's like, whoa.
It's a show, man. It's entertainment.
It's only entertainment.
It's outside.
All right.
It's all the same entertainment. It's when you get inside is what the difference between those two things are.
Right. Yeah.
One's intentional of trying to hurt each other. The other is a show. There's no real possibility that you get injured. But show, and one's you're just trying to beat the crap out of each other. So
For sure.
in those
So, well,
between the UFC and the WWE is what goes on in between after the ramp. When the ramp ends, that's the difference. Other than that, it's all the same. It's all
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that one.
I don't. Do you really give it to him? Because I'm not convinced that you.
No, I give him that one because you didn't heard too many things after the fact up the ramp where fights then continued on or things that happened in behind the scenes to where I could get that one. And even in UFC, you talk all that smack. It's only a rare few of them that really hate each other. And
Right.
those are the ones I would love to see in a bar after the fight and just see like if they walk up, just slug them just for the fun of it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah,
Which it does happen, but it happens rarely, though.
Yeah, it happens to where you don't hear about it.
Conor McGregor, but I think that's
McGregor fights everybody. He fights the chick in the middle of the Irish pub if he feels like it. She don't like his advances.
Right. And and then speaking of Chael, him saying what he said, I wanted him to die after he said what he said about I don't care about your level of entertainment. If you say after you win the title, you're gonna go to my house and bend my wife over the ironing board in front of my kids, no, that fight is never gonna make it to the octagon because you don't want us in the same vicinity. Just no. I was like, Anderson, you better kill him. And if you watch that fight, it was in Anderson's head as he walked up to him, and Chael knew it because he was backing up, and you just saw the look of fear in his eyes when Anderson was walking up to him. And contrary to what people want to believe, because they want to hate Anderson so much, that knee did not connect with his head. It hit him in his chest, and as it hit him in his chest, he backed up because they showed it in slow motion, and his knee barely missed his head. And I was like, even part of me would have been like, if they would have just gave him that, but it severely hurt him, I would have been okay with that. Yeah. It's like, I mean, technically it's good that it didn't because he got the win. But after what he said about that man, and Anderson forgave him. But I know y'all saw that. I know you saw that running post where they're both at the podium and they're talking about it, and he's like, "Have you forgiven me?" He's like, "Yeah, I forgave you. You still don't want to go to Brazil, though."
No, because he got man, that would have been on the news.
So, have you guys ever have you like? It's one of the worst places to ever go. Is Brazil the murder?
Oh yeah,
the crime.
There's a lot of places. There's a lot.
Oh, there's a lot of places.
We got to remember
there, man. For me, I don't want to go to Brazil.
When there's a CSI Miami that went to Brazil and it was all about the favelas. Nah, that's it. No, that's the end of it.
To be honest, I don't want Albuquerque either, but I say for an Albuquerque than I do in Brazil. So
anybody that watches soccer, any place in soccer history where you got to worry about if you win, because everybody in the stadium is gonna just riot.
Soccer hooligan?
You probably don't want to say nothing wrong about their favorite people because
just remember
things could happen.
God, if you're going to Brazil, Pele is God, and you're fine.
Right.
So I gotta remember.
Just don't
wear Puma and wear Puma. Pele is God and wear Puma. You're fine.
Pretty much. Yep, that's it.
Green and blue are your best, or yellow and blue are your best colors. You'll be fine.
All right. So we have had definitely a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Love the challenging on the topics. Love the just this has definitely been fun. What this is episode 36. Man, I'm loving the fact that this is like an upside to my week. I want to add more to it just because I'm having so much fun.
Final thoughts, Jay. You want to start out? You want to kick it off? You have a final thought for us?
We're only a couple of days away from college football for real. I don't count Ireland. I never count Ireland. I don't count week 0. That's not college football. That's practice games that they just put on TV. But Texas,
Love it.
Texas and Ohio State. I
Uh,
can't wait. I'm not moving all day on Saturday. Well, I gotta move a little bit on
I
Saturday.
have my daughter's birthday party on Saturday, so I'll be watching it on my phone. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I'm not.
Oh yeah. I'm about to be. I think I have a party to attend Saturday evening, but normally Saturdays, if I don't get up early in the morning and get anything done, this weekend is the last weekend in order to catch me, because once next weekend starts and I got pretty much football from noon until 3 o'clock in the morning, a nap, and then I got the NFL from 1 to 11 o'clock the next day. Yeah, I'm not gonna be nowhere to be found.
You can find me. I'll be sitting.
I'll be in the same spot as always, waiting on DoorDash and waiting on DoorDash and sitting there with multiple screens up.
100%. So for me, my final thought is not just college football, but high school football started, and we gotta, if you are a fan of football, high school football, for me, high school football is one of the last pure places you're gonna go see kids having fun playing football. So that's always great to see. I let now, granted, I went to a high school that has a very good football team, so when I go, they typically win, which is nice. But it's not always about winning. It is about seeing the kids actually get out there and really enjoy themselves. But it's also the kids, the students that show up, the student section, the bands, the whole thing. If you have a chance to go to a high school football game, go, man. It's awesome. It is so much fun. I highly suggest it.
You guys keep reminding me. I'm gonna have to call up West High and see if I can buy some football jerseys, because I've always wanted to buy, even though it didn't go the way I wanted to. I wanted to buy like the school jersey colors of my football number, which was 46. That's why anything that you've seen me where I put like blah 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 46 was my football number.
Okay.
And it was one of the high times of my younger years. Wasn't a whole lot of them.
The Western Hill School, huh? You're a Mustang.
Yeah. So I graduated a Falcon, but yeah, I was when it came to the sports side of things, I was a Mustang. So
Jay, what about you? Where did you graduate?
I graduated from Purcell Marion, so
I graduated from Aiken.
Yeah, I'm a Cavalier, so
Right.
I'm just now. I think we're 3 years into the football stadium that we were helped raising money for when I played football in. So let me tell you something.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a long story on that one that I don't really. That's why I don't really academically support them too much. But it is what it is when it comes to that. But what I will say, to piggyback off of Drew before we get out of here, one of the things that I'm not liking when it comes to that, high school football used to be something to where it was an event for the students to be able to go socialize and go have fun, watch their team, talk to girls, talk to guys, parents in the stands sitting there. We have got to, as a community, got to slow and stop some of the senseless things that have been going on when it comes to this. When you see clips of a football game in Kentucky coming to a dead stop because they're saying somebody's shooting outside, you can hear the gunshots.
I agree.
When you start hearing, I've heard North College Hill and I've heard Mason here implement to where students are not allowed at the game without adult supervision now. So where it used to be Friday night after you got out of school, you went to the little prep rally or the gathering before the game, and you went to go to the game. Now you got to have your parent there with you in order for you to even attend.
And that's tough.
It's tough because as much stuff that has changed, and we'll show our age with this in the 25 to 30 some odd years since we were in that position to where we used to look. Friday nights was, hey mom, when we got up and went to school that morning, our parents didn't expect to see us until after the game was over during football season. And don't be a player. You wasn't getting home until
I was,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I was in the band, so I was in the marching band, and that's an entirely different experience than being an actual fan. Totally thing. And yeah, like we went to school on Friday. I didn't get home until Saturday morning at like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Like, and yeah, my parents. I saw my parents at the game and stuff like that. But like, yeah, it was and I think that's one of the benefits of where I went to school. I went to Elder High School, so the community is still there. There's still a lot there, just because of the internal that's there. But like you get a lot of these like large schools, like you're talking about, these large public schools where you have, I mean, Oak Hills has 5,000 kids in it. In 4-year school, you have 5,000 kids. I'm not saying Oak Hills is violent at all. That's not what I'm saying. What I know is that you're gonna run into issues when you have that large of schools, and regardless of if it's in Cincinnati, if it's in Detroit, if it's in California, where you put that many people together, and you're gonna have a subsection of that that's gonna have a problem. Yeah, community is right where you hit on it, man. If we took the time and invested into the community and turned the clock back 30 years to where Friday nights were this community gathering together to watch football at this location, at this place, and it was a great place to do it, then wonderful. The problem is I don't think everybody has the same thing, because Jay, like you said, you went to Purcell Marion. Like, that's a small school. I mean, how did you graduate with?
I graduated with 112.
Okay. So right. And that's small, man. Like I went to like I said, I went to Elder. I graduated 370.
Right.
But it's like, but now, Dante, when you were in school, when you were at West High, how many kids did you have in your class?
Had to be like 20 to 25.
Not just in your class.
Graduation? I don't remember. I was just happy that I graduated.
Yeah. It's a lot.
If you knew huge. If you knew what my childhood was like, I was just happy that I stuck to my guns and I graduated.
That's great. But yeah, I think having that community to create that safe space for high school students to go and enjoy that last vestige where kids just love playing football, it's definitely a great thing to have.
Yeah, for sure. And with that, I'm Dante Suave. This is Drew. It's Jay. We'll see you guys. We'll see you guys again next week and talk more sports. Till then, see ya.
Good one.
Yeah.